And the genetic predisposition or assessing her genetics comes in different levels. The first one is really going over the profile and making sure that there are any diseases in the family that can have a genetic component. Example for that are cancers in the family or psychiatric disorders, like a lot of like depression, anxiety, ADD, ADHD. Sometimes we see a lot of addictions like alcoholism, in one of our parents and so on. And we already know that those have a genetic component. So that's the first layer. The second, she goes through genetic counseling a lot of the time. And it's interesting because genetic counseling, you would think like, what's the difference? She's telling us the same and she say the same to the genetic counselor. However, the genetic counselor have their ways of be able to dig into the family history much deeper than we do and be able to detect things that we might not see as an issue and realize, oh, you know what, this disease that your aunt had have a very strong genetic component. So genetic counseling is highly recommended for any egg donor. And it's not uncommon that we discover things that none of us, saw on her profile. So that's the second test that we do. The third one is genetic testing. And genetic testing, there are panels now that test from 200 to 500 genetic diseases to make sure that she's not herself a carrier of a genetic disease that could be a problem, but most importantly, that her and the sperm donor, which could be the partner, the husband, or a sperm donor, doesn't share the same genetic mutation. Everybody get a loss because when we do this genetic testing, almost all of us come back positive to something. But the key is to make sure that whatever she's positive, whoever is going to provide the sperm, he's not positive as well. So, so that's the third layer. The fourth one is testing the embryos. And I know that this is controversial and not all clinics do that. I'm a big believer in genetic testing on the embryos, or what we call all days PGS, now PGT. But that's making sure that the embryo doesn't carry any chromosome abnormalities. So as you can see, there are like 4 different layers to do the best we can to make sure that this is going to be a healthy pregnancy. The profile, the genetic counseling, the genetic testing, and of course, testing the embryo. Not to mention, of course, that during the pregnancy, there are going to be, additional testing.